Hey everybody, hope you are well. It is Tuesday, December 7th at 2:17 p.m. and I am taking a chance to just react to yesterday's poll. I thought I'd milk it as long as I could, not record yesterday just because I was pretty excited and overwhelmed and all that, and there was a lot of stuff coming out, and really nothing has happened since Purdue beat Iowa just a few days ago, but at the same time, a lot has happened. So you know my thoughts. I was really excited about what number one meant for our Boilermakers and what it meant for the program and the long-term ramifications of actually getting there. And I was skeptical of Purdue actually getting there, not because I didn't think they deserved it, not because I thought that they weren't good enough, any of that. It was just ineptitude of the media and kind of the way the media does things. This week, they are unanimous in believing that Purdue is the best team in America. So Purdue is number one in America. Every AP voter voted them number one. At the same time, they are number one in the net rankings. The net rankings, of course, are important because the net rankings are what the NCAA tournament committee uses to make their selections. They kind of lean upon that. They also use the RPI's strength of schedule rankings, and this is a big deal. Having both of those right now is huge. Will they hold on to it very long? They may hold on to it for a bit. I think it's silly to think they'll hold on to it for longer than a couple of weeks. If you look at the upcoming schedule, really, their next big test comes at the hands of Wisconsin. If you're looking at really the schedule and what the future holds for our Boilers, they've got first. Let's go through this real quickly. They play at Rutgers on Thursday. This Thursday, December 9th, 7 p.m. Big Ten Network, I think, will have it on TV. I hope they do. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just decide to put an old wrestling match, Ohio State or Michigan preferably, on their airwaves, and then maybe we can pay extra. I'm kidding because you guys know I love the Big Ten Network, love their programming decisions, and hope they give Purdue, the number one team in America, the respect of actually airing a conference game. I believe they will. Next, they'll play NC State in an unusual one in New Jersey for very, very unusual game. But NC State doesn't look to be a huge test. They are ranked in the 50s, I think, in many categories. Is it a game they could lose? Sure. All these games are games they could lose. Then they play Butler in the Crossroads Classic, Incarnate Word back home, Nicholls State back home, and then January 3rd, they play Wisconsin and resume Big Ten play. And that's the game that I think everybody should have circled for right now because that's Wisconsin. Wisconsin is still Wisconsin. Wisconsin does regularly what Iowa tried to do versus Purdue to win, which is play a physical brand of basketball. I think they'll do it again. Interestingly enough, you watched Iowa. Iowa lost another game. They are 0-2 now in conference. And in this most recent game, they scored 83 points. I think they had everybody available. But they played a completely different style. I think Fran was calculated in his belief that they couldn't run with Purdue. And they decided to play a different brand of basketball. But as we look at Purdue, what does it mean that they are this highly ranked? I think the biggest thing you take away if you've watched Purdue and you believe what I believe, that is that this offense makes the thing go, of course. Purdue is fourth in America in scoring. They're averaging 90.5 points, I believe. And even after the most recent game, which wasn't an awful game, but still, they're still up there in the top five in the nation in scoring. The defense is okay. It's not great. It's a work in progress, and I still think that defense could take a big leap in the next month or so. That's kind of what Matt Painter's teams have done in the past. Who knows if it will actually happen this time? But historically, Painter's teams make a big jump defensively in right at the first of the year. At least they have the last decade or so. I want to thank, before I go any further, I want to thank our pals at Martin Vintage, martinvintage.com, and they're boiled at checkout. Get your Christmas shopping done. You are running up against it right now. It's December 7th. Christmas is coming. martinvintage.com and are boiled at checkout. Gridiron Metalworks.com. Get Grill Great, get one of those cool spatulas, interboiled at checkout. You get 15% off there. And then, of course, AJ's, eataj's.com. If you're on campus, if you're going to game, check out AJ's. Grab a bite to eat, grab a pint. Enjoy the televisions and the warm, glowing glow of just the ambiance of AJ's. We appreciate those people. We appreciate all three of our sponsors. They're all Boilermakers. Back to what we're talking about today. Let me give you a couple more thoughts about being number one. First one, I understand this is a beauty contest. I get that this is not super important when you look at the grand scheme of things. But on the other hand, this is very important. To be in the public consciousness, to be in the media's consciousness, to be on SportsCenter, to be a big story, to be a national story. If you were on Twitter, I can tell you, I know Twitter puts things together so they will work for us. Work for whomever is the viewer. But my feed was absolutely filled with different entities talking about Purdue and the importance of Purdue being number one and just the fact they're the number one team in basketball in America. That's a big deal. And the reason that's a big deal is because the longer you can stay up there, the more the humans that actually decide the seedings will remember you. And then you get a high seed. I think a 1 or 2 seed is obviously the key for Purdue to make a serious run because you don't run into any of those teams that are up there with you until late in the tournament. We all saw it a couple years ago when Purdue made the run to the Elite Eight, lost to Virginia before Virginia won the national title, that back when you get into that round of 8, things get really, really difficult regardless. But you really don't want to have to play a team like Gonzaga or a team like Duke or a team like Kansas or a team like Baylor in the round of 16, which Purdue has done a lot of it historically because they've been in that 4 to 6 or 7 seeding. Things get really difficult when you play those teams with horses, with length. This year is different, though. I will keep saying this. This year is different. This team is different. Everything feels better, looks better, and I believe will end up being better at the very end of the season. I sure as hell hope so. What a great beginning of the season, though. Purdue is 8-0, and Purdue is absolutely a feared team in the college basketball world, and it's a big deal. Let me talk about a few football notes before I close out. First off, you guys know it. Purdue is going to the Music City Bowl. First time there. They're going to be playing Tennessee. I actually am going through the process, reserving a block with a couple friends. I hope to see you there. If you do, let's say hi. We're gonna head down to Nashville, even though the bad mojo, the bad feelings from the last trip to Nashville. I have a better feeling this time. Let's not forget Tennessee, while an SEC foe, is not Auburn from that year. Auburn was number 2 to begin the season. Tennessee is not that. Tennessee has an interesting offense. They throw the ball around. It could be really, really fun. I think Purdue's defense will be the difference maker in this one. I look for AOC to sling the ball over the field, even if Bell isn't available. We don't know anything about Bell and Karlaftis, their decision to play in the bowl game yet. As far as I'm concerned, maybe it's been an hour or two since I've been on Twitter. But what I've seen, the news that I've seen, is that Karlaftis and Bell are not returning for their final years on campus. Obviously not. Good decision by them, but I hope they come for the Bulls. I think they're absolutely essential to Purdue. But even if Bell is not there, I think Purdue will still have a pretty good game plan ready for Tennessee. I think the Braun brothers will dial up something special. Coach Shepard will have guys in place to make plays, and I'm excited about it. I'm hoping Purdue, of course, can come away from with a win just because Tennessee's fans are tough to deal with. They acted like they were getting ready to play. Their volunteers were getting ready to play a nobody. Little do they know, obviously, that Purdue's beaten 2 highly ranked teams this year. Purdue's offense is really, really good, and Purdue's defense is better than it's been in probably 18 years. So I want all that, and I want Tennessee fans to have to eat their words. They won't, because I think they're kind of a jackass group of fans. There's a couple good ones in there, but most of them, when you listen and look at their presence on Twitter and other places, you'll see a group of people that are super cocky for absolutely no reason, because it's been a long time since Tennessee's been very good, and I want it. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to it. Hope to see you there. Thanks again for tuning in. Purdue is number 1 in NCAA basketball. I woke up this morning, and they were still number 1. So let's enjoy this time, but let's also keep in mind that now that they've reached that rite of passage, I keep saying it's just a rite of passage. It's the thing that they check off the list to go to the next thing. This is the first or the second gold. The tournament championship was probably a big deal. I think, in that small tournament, Purdue getting, beating two good teams was a big deal. Getting to number one is the second one. Next one, look towards the conference title. And then, of course, peaking in April. Mercy, could we have a magical year? It could be a lot of fun. But this is checked off for me. I move on now. I don't really care all that much about rankings, but they had to get there, in my opinion. This team is sitting on the shoulders of great teams and giants in college basketball world and history, and they did something none of those people could do. Glenn Robinson couldn't do it. Joe Barry Carroll couldn't do it. Robbie Hummel couldn't do it. Todd Mitchell, Troy Lewis, Everett Stevens couldn't do it. But this group has done it. They are number one. Have a great day. God bless you. Hammer down. Talk soon.